Hello, you beautiful human beings. Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Jonas. I'm a 28-year-old model, photographer, creative director, and influencer, if you want to say so. And on my YouTube account, you will find videos about pretty much everything that goes on in my life, but also beyond. And today I want to talk about how to build a brand, what's happening when you build a brand, what are the circumstances that you have to deal with? What are the obstacles that are in your way? And especially what I figured when I was writing the script for this video was the difficulties that you have to face and challenge when you start your own label, because some might think it is way easier than it actually is, including me and my partner Luca when we started 1.5 years ago. And I think 18 months into everything, it's quite a good time to make a first real cut and say, okay, how did things go? And did things go as expected or not? And I can tell you and promise you that most of the things we did not really go the way we wanted to. So to everyone out there trying to start something, building a brand, building a label, and going into creating something for yourselves, this is not going to be a disencouragement. It's just going to be a reality check from someone that is working in this industry for over 10 years and has got the experience on both sides of the camera, behind and in front, and also as someone who's working for other labels, for other brands, and in the creative department, art direction, etc., etc. I can just say I was thinking it would be a lot easier than it actually is. And through all these obstacles and everything that's going to happen from scratch to the very end, I'll go and talk you through. And this is going to be a reality check for myself also. So sit back, enjoy, grab a coffee. This is going to be a longer video, and I'll talk you through the very beginning until where we are right now. You know, for those who watch my videos, they know that I started modeling when I was 16 years old. I'm now 28, so it's been 12 years on that road, which has been beautiful and no complaints about that. But I figured that during that process, I not only like creating images and then, you know, being the guy that makes things happening in front of the camera. I also love what's happening all around that. What are the brands that I'm working with? How is the art direction department working? What's the photographer doing? How are the images going to look like? What is all the outcome used for? And then I build a strong sense for fashion myself, a great time. And then that idea grew in my mind to start something, to build something myself that would include everything I have learned in that process and in that period of time of my life, all the experience I can put into, all the knowledge I can put into, all the money I can put into, and also my own creative input. The idea grew when I was like 24, 25. The only thing that I was missing was someone who could share that vision with me, who could share that knowledge with me, and who could also help me out and be my Robin if I'm the Batman for my own project. It was in New York when I was there with mutual friends with Tobias and Norman. It was that time when I met Luca in New York on that trip, and it really clicked, and we made a very good connection with each other. And I was just confronting or telling him about my idea. And at that time, he was already having a small business, which I found very inspiring. And he still has that business to date, but he was into my ideas. And so we started working on things. Do we want to do a whole collection? Where do we start? We need to find people who can produce that. We need to find a source for the fabrics, for the yarns. We need to learn how to scratch something, how to design something, how to digitalize the designs, how to, you know, everything pretty much. And I can tell you, you'll find out in this video, that everything that we have created with our label has come from our hands. and our hands only. So from the very first sketches of the clothes to the designs themselves to the sourcing of the fabrics to flying to Portugal to meet the factories and the people at the factories to eventually work on the samples, receive the samples. In the meantime, doing all the legal stuff, building our web shop, building a landing page, building an Instagram page, building a Pinterest board, trying to already go into like marketing things to tell people that we're going to do this. Everything has come from ourselves. I'm very proud of to say that what we've done and achieved together is just because we did it ourselves. It would have been a good idea to ask people for help, especially with the things that we weren't essentially good at, but I will come to this. So it was October 2022. We flew to Portugal with a bunch of sketches and told them we want to have this, we want to have these pants in that colorway, we want to have that yarn for the knitwear, we want to have that source of cotton for our sweats. You know, we flew back and we got the most terrible samples we could ask for. Wrong colors, wrong cuts, everything was wrong and cost a bunch of money. And that was the first moment where we thought, okay, fuck, this is not as easy as we thought it would be. They're not going to send us the samples and we can just go straight into production and be like, okay, in 2 months we have the full collection ready and, you know, can already go into the marketing side. No, we can't. We just have to work on these samples. And it took 4 or 5 samples to finally receive the final, the good quality stuff that we wanted to have. And that cost a fortune of money. Yeah, once we got the final designs, or the final samples, we could start shooting something that we could use for our imagery, for our online shop, for our landing pages, etc., Instagram and stuff, to then build some demand, you know, that people would know, okay, they're going to do that stuff. And then people came and be like, oh, that looks amazing. Oh my God, I need something from this. That looks great. I want to have the sweater. I want to have the pants. I want to have the rib top. I want to have this and blah and blah. So we had 7 pieces or 8 pieces in total in the beginning. And we thought, okay, just from what the people say, this is going to be amazing. Like, Luca, hands down, this is going to be insane. Turns out none of these people that have been sending these messages actually bought anything. Lesson learned, okay, never listen to what the people say because the people just say something, they won't do what they say. Okay, learning number 1. Jan 23, we went to Cape Town together. I was doing some photo jobs there, and one of the models I was shooting, I just said, hey, can you take on that knit sweater? And she was wearing it, and I was mind blown. I was like, this is exactly how I want my brand to look like. You know, everything went well. The other samples came. We got the sweatshirt, we got the pants, we got the rib top, we got the quarter zip, we got the hoodie. You know, everything was ready. We came back from Cape Town and we could start shooting online shop because we wanted to have everything on not just on a professional level, but we wanted to have it as good looking as possible. We said, we're not going to be super expensive, but we're going to be expensive, so it needs to look expensive. Of course, the fabrics, the yarns, the production, the samples, and everything that went into it, and the whole image costs a ton of money, so we can't sell it for, say, street fashion prices. It's not going to be possible. So it's going to be above that, but it can't be super expensive, but it has to look super expensive. And that was the mission. And I will show you how the online shop looked like, how the images looked like. We shot a lookbook. We sent the lookbook to magazines. We got published in a couple magazines. We got featured in articles in high prestigious magazines. And that was all before we went live. Everything, all of these things were happening before we went live. So we thought, okay, you know what? This is actually good. Like we did everything we possibly could to make this a success. And then we went live. And guess what? Nothing really happened. We had a couple hundred of people in the waiting list for our stuff. And I think we had 10 orders in the first 2 days. And that was a slap in the face. That was a big slap in the face. And that was a moment to realize, okay, this is not how we thought it would be. And there is a couple of reasons for that. First, the price point. The price point is high. The price point is not as high as Jacquemus, Ami Paris, Le Maire, and other brands like this. Of course it's not, because we're not a luxury brand. We want it to be for everyone, for all of us. That was one of the key, that was the key mission that we had. It's for all of us. It's a unisex brand that everyone can wear when they want to, if they want to go out, that the pants and the rib top, the quarter zip looks nice. If we want to have a chill day, the hoodie looks good. You know, it's for all of us. It's for every occasion. And the materials are on the, you know, top-notch quality. So the price point for us, just for us, was validated, okay? I would have bought that if I knew what was behind that product. The people don't know what's behind that product. They just see the price and they be like, oh, no, that's too expensive for me. Second, the market. We are a German brand, and German brands, they are pretty much all the same. And this is no confrontation, but the look of the brands is pretty much all the same. Having these two factors was a good knowledge for us, knowing that when we produce the next things, we would have to step down the price a little or invent a product that people could just easily grab. And one of these things after a while were the bandanas, which I will come to in a minute. But we went live in April. It went slow, super slow, as I told you, and it didn't grow essentially. So we were starting new things, starting new shoots. I was setting up some shoots with friends of mine who were models, in a studio outside, wherever. Did everything we could to spread that image that we wanted to create, which is a luxurious, high-end image that people would hop on and be like, oh, I want to have something of this. And eventually it grew and grew and grew, and we made the sales that we needed to, but not in order to grow, just in order to survive, basically. What we weren't really aware of is the costs of what we're dealing with the legal stuff. We're dealing with our tax minister. We're dealing with the production that we had to pay, which was incredibly expensive. Shopify costs, domain costs, protecting the brand, paying the models, paying the shoots, paying the studios, and all that stuff. You know, we had to cover these costs, and we did cover these costs by just selling few products and have few orders only. And then we said, okay, we want to go into paid ads. But we had no idea how paid ads work, so we paid an agency, friends of mine, who were doing this, and they not just failed, but we spent tons of money, I think 9 or 10K on ads, which in return didn't even pay off to 10K. So the return of that was terrible, and we just were at the same point as before. We made some sales, but we could have made these sales without the ads, but then again, we just spent tons of money for it. The next idea we have is to do the bandanas, just to have people buy a product that is not on the same price point as the others, and then we settled them at 40 euros, which was a fair price. We had them produced in Europe as well. A new production manager, a new system behind everything. We set up a new shooting. I was flying to Paris to have a shooting with a great model. I was styling everything myself. Toby came with me, and we did that. Then I did a shoot in Mallorca with myself in it, and we're sending out a lot of giftings to like influencers, models, photographers, creative people that we thought would be a great fit for the brand. And I'll show you the stuff that they created. Very, very few of the people that we've sent stuff to eventually created images or videos for us, very few of them. And even those who did, that was no guarantee for us to sell. So basically everything we thought, from the moment of production to the shoots for the online shop, for the lookbook, the press, the media coverage, the influencers, the ads, everything, this is no guarantee for you to sell. And that's a pretty tough awakening. And the first 6 months, they cost me a lot of nerves. And I was thinking, what am I doing here? And to be honest, moving on, it didn't really change. So what we are really doing with the brand, we're having a sale now to just sell the pieces in a very lower price, which is very hard for us because we think it's very undervalued at the moment. But you can shop everything at a super cheap price, honestly, to what it costs us in contrast. Um, and yeah, it was just, an incredibly hard time. And then we produced another bunch of knitwear, which we thought would fit perfectly into our own image. I can show the videos of the campaign that we shot in Cape Town, great models. And again, I was like, this is what I want to do with my brand. That looks exactly how I want it. That's the vibe that I want to spread. But you can't sell a vibe. You can't sell it. There's no price point for a vibe. And we did not sell any of these knitters in the first weeks. And, I got depressed by just sitting there and waiting for people. It was in my Shopify account. I was like, where are my sales? What is happening? How can people not buy this? Because everything we do is just a doer work, right? I do this, Luca does this. But, once we've done everything we could, we are like, okay, stagnation. What can we do? Essentially, like, I don't know how many times we had this call, and I was telling Luca, like, okay, what else can we do? What else can we do? Tell me something, I will do it. If there is anything I can do, let me know, I'll do it. It is what it is. We gotta have to fight, and we gotta have to make this work somehow, because this is my lifelong wish, to have something that people can grab, something that comes from my heart, from my brain, from my hands, that people can have, and it survives some seasons in their wardrobe. That's what I want to do. And as I said, this is not going to be a disencouragement. It's just going to be like an honest view on what brand building essentially is like in reality for most of the brands that just try to survive. And I'm not talking about the big players in the streetwear market here in Germany. I'm so happy for them. I'm happy for every German brand that goes out there and essentially sells a lot of things to work and to have a community. And, I want to have that too. But it's just a hard fight. The message is, please still do it. If you have a great idea, if you have a great product, go out there and do it. If you believe in it and you work for it and you know what kind of sacrifices you have to make, please go for it and do it. But don't think it's going to be easy, because it's not going to be easy. And, well, I think that's kind of a long video, but it was a good live podcast for me as well to see where we are and what's kind of necessary to make a project like this work. Thanks for checking in anyways. You guys are amazing. Make sure to follow if you like the videos that I'm doing, and maybe go to LAUGÉ, LAUGE.shop, and see what we do and grab a piece for yourself, because we have some left, obviously. And you guys take care and stay beautiful. Until very, very soon. Bye-bye.